Me mo bi akwaba eba Melodies TV so. Say the BNI is still working. The oral operation recover all loot no. Omogusu ye juma. And that anopeya story eba and say former customs pinyi I friend Isaac Krentel ya chino over role or play ewo SML deal emu. Now for people who don't know the SML deal no, and on under President Akufo-Addo ne last year the fourth estate for expose you know. Muni amobeka ya deal na yetia millions of dollars more. Deal la wamo sign ya so mu free abemo MPP free abemo krana say every single month you betia sikapudo say every single year on budget $10 million and all that normal sign deal no for I think 10 years or so na Kenoforiata deal we one of the deals I'm a special prosecutor Eddie Kenoforiata echia ya promise and say May and Kenoforiata ebeba and then we are in May 21st Kenoforiata is still not in this country. Yes, I deal we are. You know, some people allegedly also involved in the deal, no. Yasha si aye chiomo, and nipa bakwa yese or ye involved, customs for a penny, former customs for penny, yacheno said no so involved in the deal. Samunya mobekai the SML deal na. It was basically no ejuma ni esi omunya ne ejuma ne kra no nkrofo ye deda. Ati ase nkrofo ye ejuma ne kra deda. They weren't even supposed to be given that deal, but for some reason they were given a very big scandal. We all remember that deal, right? Let's read the story and see. I'll say the National Intelligence Bureau has detained Isaac Krentel, former commissioner of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, in connection with ongoing investigations into the controversial contract awarded to Strategic Mobilization Limited, SML. Sources familiar with the matter confirmed that Mr. Krenzel was picked up earlier this week for questioning regarding his role in the award and operationalization of the SML deal, which has been under intense public scrutiny. The NIB's action follows growing concerns over possible irregularities and suspected collusion by top officials in designing and implementing the revenue assurance contract, reportedly worth millions of Ghana cedis. The Office of the Special Prosecutor and other anti-corruption agencies are also believed to be monitoring the case closely. Mr. Krentel, who served as Commissioner of Customs from 2015 to 2019, is alleged to have played a key role during the initial stages of the SML engagement. It remains unclear whether formal charges have been filed, but sources within the security services indicate that further interrogations are underway and more former and current officials may be invited for questioning. The SML contract has attracted widespread criticism from civil society, organizations, opposition parties, and some members of parliament who argue that it lacked transparency and value for money. The Ghana Revenue Authority, which has recently issued a statement rebutting the company's claim, has yet to issue an official statement on Mr. Krenzel's detention. Now, MPP4 try say no more yet propaganda. Embrebi Nansenya MPP4 try say omo ye propaganda say NDC4 buy omo say SML deal no nenye. Now so NDC4 buy omo akwa SML4 contract. Ena Ghana Revenue Authority ba bonte be di bank say ntro omo ma SML4 contract bia. So basically no opinion ya oye customs pinyi no ya che no ye say deal ne sha ase no no ka omo a omo share deal na ase until allegedly the deal no ngrofo bebre e ka ho. But onim one thing about Ghana for ne say eya na arefree e wo ye ho. Until no a lot of people don't remember the SML deal and they don't know the size, okay, just for the want of a better word. Ghanaians have forgotten how big this scandal was. I'm going to read a brief of the SML deal, and you realize what is going on right now. But basically, no, this is the story coming through this early morning. So let's read from one of the finest brains in this country, in a person of Bright Simmons, who is president of Imani Africa, talk about the SML deal. Or say SML deal was simply an expanded Agyapa royalties deal. Bright Simmons. Now, I say a vice president of Imani Africa, Bright Simmons, has asserted that the revenue assurance contract between the Ghana Revenue Authority and Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited was an upgrade of the botched Agyapa royalties deal. Inti Bright Simmons said SML deal no, I have explained the Agyapa royalties deal on this platform on several occasions. What you say? Senior now 1% Ghana, ede ye royalties, sika omani nya every good mu ekosi awawa. Ede G sika ni na under President Akufo-Addo no di ni na nti echirimba ba omunya ye royalties no ebi no. Aha nti o trese SML deal no basically no Agyapa deal ne say no na omoko plan SML deal la omo be yes anyama no. So according to Simmons, after the Nana Akufo-Addo government failed to implement the Agyapa deal, which sought to collateralize Ghana's mineral resources, it expanded the SML deal, which was originally for revenue assurance for oil production, to include minerals. MyJoyOnline.com reports. The Imani vice president, who is reported to have made these claims during a detailed presentation on the job expectation of SML on Joy FM's News File program on April 27, 2024, said that the company was tasked by the government to expand its service to Ghana's mineral production, even though the contract was questionable. You see, we are completely certain that when you try to expand this SML service to cover the minerals and petroleum, it was simply a Agyapa deal in suit and tie. You see, when Agyapa failed, somebody suggested that if we cannot get a percentage of the royalties that we wanted from every ounce of gold sold in Ghana, then we will do even more. We will add the oil as well, and we will create a mechanism to get a certain percentage out of that, he quoted to have said. It was say Agyapa no, na ye gold no mo pe. But omo ye yamfa no, and omo say and ye Ghana for say ye ji ketwa na mo se mo mpa and ye beji kese. Ye be ye SML deal. Ni ya ji gold no, ni asanso age oil na ka ho because ye ji gold no mo se mo mpe. Ye beji ni na. And omo de SML deal ne by. That's what Bright Simmons eka. As Simmons said that the SML deal had a lot of irregularities, including the feasibility of accurately determining oil production and calculating royalties, particularly in light of concerns about the reliability of data provided by oil companies. It is our SML fui ye momo kwako sign a contract say ye fango hun sem no omo be hwehwe ati ase ne ya calculate ehun sika eni bibia, but answer ne de deal ne be mo no na saa de ayade a Ghana Revenue Authority deda ayade a system no was already in place. Inti SML no beji ade ne kra no irregularities bebre. Also, he slammed the Ghana Revenue Authority for relying on mechanisms to establish royalty payments, highlighting the inherent challenges associated with monitoring and regulating the extraction and sale of petroleum. Also, it doesn't make any sense to try and claim that because the tallow and other companies are lying about the oil produced, you will use some mechanism to try and establish that. And for every barrel of oil produced, you will then be entitled to a percentage. What logic is that? He quizzed. Now, background. Also, President Akufo-Addo, in a press statement released by the Communications Director of the Presidency, Eugene Ahi, instructed the GRA and the Ministry of Finance to renegotiate the SML contract. The President emphasized that the renegotiation should be closely monitored and evaluated periodically to ensure it meets expectation. Also, there is a clear need for the downstream petroleum audit services provided by SML, GRA, and states have benefited from these services since SML commenced providing them. There has been an increase in volumes of 1.7 billion liters, an increase in tax revenue to state of 2.45 billion Ghana cedis. KPMG also observed that there were qualitative benefits, including 247 electronic real-time monitoring of outflow and partial monitoring of inflows of petroleum products at depots, where SML had installed flow meters and 6 levels of reconciliation done by SML. So this was the letter President Akufo-Addo released. So time then so no President Akufo-Addo letter and the crown and Crawford realized say enye ni na no de ba abonten. And he was sort of na say opeso defend the SML for, but later and Crawford be hu say sa de na crown no enye no kware sa SML deal ne crown ne ntwa ye what ya say nti sa deal no eno hu nsem say omo ekwatena ase plan ye say wo mo peso mo wia Ghana sika allegedly in the Fango area no what ya say ye Fango hu nsem no eno ena chese yache nti obi nti nsem na se a the reason why yache papa yi sa SML deal ya eno hu nti ende ama kenofo yata we free Ghana for several months or say or sane ho yare a won buy no yes emrana kenofo yata te Ghana ha a ye minister anyway but SML deal na eno hu nti kenofo yata wo ni Ghana no eno hu nti ne yache papa yi montre nwaje comment box ni mu me da se